Maggie Jane, and today we're going to be diving into the lovely, wonderful topic of money. Because who doesn't want to talk about money? You know, it's a great thing. And there's so many beliefs and ideas and feelings around money, and it has always been an interesting topic in my life. And I'm getting to a point now where my success is inevitable. If you know me, you know that. And I've always had that knowing within myself, and I never knew exactly like how it was going to happen, but now I do. I still don't know the exact details. I don't know when, I don't know like how everything is going to exactly play out, but I have a pretty good idea. And I know for 100% fact that me being successful and achieving all of my dreams, like that is inevitable. It's just a matter of when. So I want to get on here and share my ideas and my beliefs and my money mindset because there's a few reasons why I want to do this episode, and one of them is because my sister wanted it. So shout out to Abby. This one's for you. And another reason is because I'm still building the confidence and the comfortability around speaking about money and sharing my beliefs around money. Because growing up, like, money was always this negative topic. And I know that's the case for so many people. Money has such a negative view from hundreds, thousands, millions of people. And I have been shifting that within myself because money itself is not bad. There is nothing wrong with money. It is simply an energy. Same thing with everything else. Like this couch I'm sitting on, these pillows, this mic. It is all energy. And the only way something can be perceived as bad is by the other energy that somebody's putting on it. What are they doing with the energy of money? That's the whole perception of money is bad. Money makes people greedy, and just that is something that I really had to overcome. And I remember even just last year, I had this belief and just this negative connotation of, oh, the system is so fucked. Like, why? I don't even care to make money. Like, why do I need to make money to live? It's complete bullshit. And I know a lot of people have that mindset. And that's okay. You know, it's a very common mindset. It's understandable. But is it really the system? Is it really a bad thing? Maybe money is inevitably a part of this lifetime. There's no way around it. It has been here for longer than I've been alive, and many years before that, because I'm not that old. I'm 21 years old. But there's so many beliefs and ideas around money, and I just want to share mine and share the importance of a money mindset and just healing it and opening yourself up to all of the abundance that's available, because you can sit here and you can hate on the system and you can judge the people who are making millions every single day, or you can figure out how to become one of them. And maybe you don't want millions. Maybe you just want enough money to not have to worry about anything. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to not have to worry about money. But I can tell you that complaining about the system and complaining about money and judging people and putting hatred or negativity towards any idea of money, that's what's stopping you from receiving that. It has nothing to do with the amount of time you put in to a job. It has nothing to do with, I don't want to say nothing. Action is like the last part of it. But I have been discovering and just on this journey of transformation and success that your mindset and your feelings and your experiences towards money, that is the true cause and the true result of where you're at with money. You know, if you are living paycheck by check and just like struggling to pay your bills every month and you never have enough money to go spoil yourself or go on vacations, like there's something deeper within that is the cause of that. It's not the system. Yeah, the system could be 10 times better, but so could so many other things that don't involve money. You know? So the first step to just healing it is diving into yourself and figuring out what your actual beliefs around money are. Not what your parents told you, not what society tells you, not anything. What are your beliefs? And what do you want? How much money do you want? What will satisfy you? What is that amount of money that makes you feel free, that relieves all that worry in your life? And just feeling comfortable with even knowing that about yourself. It's a lot of just feeling comfortable around the idea of money and receiving money and also spending money. And it's a process. It is. And I'm not over here saying that I make so much money and I'm living absolutely comfortable. Like, yes, I'm comfortable in my life because have I no longer allow money to determine my power or my comfortability, my comfortableness, and just anything about who I am. Because money is outside of me. It is not determined. The only way money has power is if I give it that. So I could, I was going to wait to do this episode, but I just like, I've been getting these thoughts and feelings the last couple of days of just now is the time. Because, like I was saying, like, I want to get comfortable talking about money and being in that space of just always receiving and being comfortable spending any amount of money that I want and just being comfortable receiving anything that I want in life because that's what's available. Why would I not open myself up to that? Because that's what life wants for me. That's what I want for myself. That's what everyone around me wants for me. That's what I want for everyone that I'm around. So just being comfortable with it. Because money itself is not bad. It's not good. It is an energy. It's a piece of paper that we make. We print that shit. And it's a beautiful thing because yes, there's a lot of people that don't do the best things with money, but there's also a lot of people who do really fucking good things with money. And you could be one of them. You probably already are. You feed yourself, you take care of your family. You know, maybe you're investing in your business, maybe you're donating to charities, or maybe you're doing anything that is of service or good and brings more love to humanity. Money is a powerful tool for really amplifying that. And just accepting that and accepting that money itself can never be negative and can never be bad, it completely changes the game. You know, Elijah and I, we were in bed meditating. Well, I was just laying in bed and he's like, hey, do you want to do this meditation with me? And it's this meditation called Money is Beautiful. And I will put the link to that in the bio of this episode because it's a really powerful meditation. And we did that meditation and it has you like speaking affirmations and just like trying to shift your beliefs and just changing the way you think about money and just implementing that into your mind. And I was just, as soon as we started, I didn't want to speak any of it. And just so much feeling, so many old feelings came up. And the meditation is like 20 minutes long. And by the time we finished, I was just sitting there. And I sat in bed for like another hour to hour and a half after we did that meditation and just noticing all of these feelings that were coming up. Like, why did I have so much resistance around speaking these positive things about money, around talking about a new and healthy relationship that I want to have with money? Why was so much resistance coming up? And what my mind and my body were telling me is that money makes me feel small and powerless. That is a belief that I have conditioned into myself since I was a little kid. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And I sat there and it reminded me of all these experiences that were attached to these feelings and all the times that I got scammed out of money or the times that I went on a trip and I couldn't afford to pay for shit or the times when I had to work multiple jobs and I was still struggling to get by and I'm just like I have no time for myself. You know, like when you're in those situations and you want more but you don't have it, you feel so powerless and you feel so small. At least that's how I felt, you know. But it made me remember just like times when I felt that way in the past and I didn't get out of bed and I let those feelings take over. And it's literally like you're laying there and your mind is just telling you like, what's the point of even getting up? Why bother? What do you have to do? Why don't you just lay here and sit in these feelings? And I used to give into that every single time. And it was so hard to fight those feelings because that has been a feeling that's been conditioned and programmed into me for the last 21 years. It's so hard to fight that, but you're capable of it. And if you ever want to change your situation with money, you have to fight that because it's a lot harder to stay that way. You know that. I know that. It's the struggle of money. Do you want to continue living paycheck to paycheck? Do you want to continue having to tell your kids no? Or tell yourself no? Because you can't afford something. I know I don't want that. I don't. I hate that feeling. But I also love that feeling. Because there's no reason to hate it. You know, hating something doesn't make it go away. But loving it can. If I just give those feelings love, and that's exactly what I did when I was laying in the bed for the next hour, I was just in there with my mind like, why do I feel this way? What is stopping me? Why do I feel so powerless around this object that's outside of me? And you know, I've made a lot of money and I'm out here, I'm living my dream. I don't work a 9 to 5. I got myself out of corporate America. I was a server for like 3 years and I went full time into my creative journey in July of 2023, last year. So I'm nearly a year into being full time into this journey, and it's still something like I would never go back. Ever. I would rather struggle and eat ramen than go back to fucking corporate America. Because the reason I quit my job was I was doing so well and I was doing so many things outside of that job, whether it was modeling or acting and just the promo modeling or just like starting to serve at special events and just realizing that I can take my skills and I can take my energy and get myself so much further than I could just working for somebody else. And so it was getting to a point where I was dreading going to work. I was dreading having to take my energy and pretend, put a fucking smile on my face and go serve these people. Because I worked at the Paradise Valley Country Club and a lot of those people are pretty snobby, you know? So it was really interesting to see because I'm like, I'm working in an environment where a lot of people are rich as fuck and I'm having to serve them. It's really, really interesting because they like, a lot of them are really nice. Don't get me wrong. And that's the whole idea of like, it's not the money that makes them bad, it's the way that they allow money to affect them. They just their ego is through the fucking roof. They just don't care about anyone who doesn't make the same amount of money. It's real, you know? But I just could not anymore. And I was just at a point where I did not give a fuck what happened. I just knew I was not going to back. And it actually happened in a very perfect way because the country club, it's in Arizona, so it's really, really hot in the summer. Nobody's going to go out and play golf at 120 degrees. At least you wouldn't think they would. But they closed down for the month of July, June and July, and most of August. So I would have been out of work for like 3 or 4 months anyway. So I decided to just not go back, you know? I have to figure it out for these 3 months. Why not just keep doing that? And that's exactly what I did. And I'm so, 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 so grateful that I did that. Because I was just like, yeah, peace out. And that was a very easy thing for me because I was never the type to suffer at a job. Like, if I did not like it, if it was not treating me like a genuine human being, I'm going to leave. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what bills I got to pay. I will not take that disrespect. Ever. And I have been fired from one job. I wouldn't even really consider it being fired because I was about to move anyway. My boss literally texted me and he was just like, Maggie, you didn't show up today, so I'm going to have to fire you. But I hope you have a great time and I hope you enjoy this new journey. And I was like, cool, thanks. I was going to quit anyway. So, I have no shame in leaving a job. And there's no shame in people who have been working at jobs for years. Like that is your choice. I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not out here to judge anybody. Like you do what you want. But I just cannot. I refuse. I refuse. And because I'm in my 20s, I feel like it's the perfect time for me to just go from job to job. Like I've had so many jobs and they've almost all been in the food industry. So many. And, like I said, I've worked multiple jobs before. And when I was doing that, I've mentioned this before, I didn't have a car. I was walking to work. Like I've been through that. I've hustled. I'm still out here hustling. I'm just doing it in a way that actually makes my soul happy now. And I love that. And, I've made a lot of money. It's just I'm still in the point of how can I make this recurring? You know? That's my thing. And that's also the beauty and the struggle of just going full time into a creative passion. Like a lot of people will decide to have, like a side job in corporate America just so they can make sure their bills are good. That's a great option. I just mentally could not. Like, I was just like, I'm going all in. And it takes me back to one thing that Jay Shetty said in his story, because he kind of did the same. He was just like, if I protect my purpose will protect me. I have been fine. I eat. I'm healthy. I'm living my best life. I'm traveling Italy. And I'm just getting to a point where I just like, I'm accepting it. I am loving it. And most people probably think, unless like really know me and talk to me, most people probably think that I'm doing really well financially. Yeah, I could be doing better. I could be doing a lot worse, but I could be doing better. And I'm okay with that. I'm accepting that. And I have no shame around that. Because, it's the process of life, it's the process of a success journey. And that's a big reason why I wanted to do this episode, is just to be honest. To be honest with myself, to be honest with my listeners, to just be fucking honest and accepting it. Because that's the first step. Just accepting where you're at without any judgment and all the love. Because if you can't even accept where you're at, you can't face your situation, how are you ever going to change it? How are you ever going to look yourself in the eyes and be like, damn, this is where I'm at. This is my financial situation. This is where most of my money goes. This is where I want it to be. You have to be able to do that with yourself. You have to be able to go internal and be like, okay, why am I not making more money? Why am I repeating this pattern? What are your beliefs? What are your core beliefs around money? For me, it was the fact that I felt small and powerless around money. So of course I'm not going to make a lot because it makes me feel small and powerless. That's not an empowering feeling. That is not a that's not an abundant and attractive and receiving energy. And I just accepted that. And this is something that I just fully realized the other day. You know? So it's a process. But like I said, my success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And the more that I dive into myself and uncover these beliefs and I accept and I love these beliefs, the more room and space it creates for all these new beliefs. And another thing that I want to dive into is when I did that meditation and I went on a run and I just sat with myself and I came back and I realized I'm just like, okay, I want to change my relationship with money, but my mind was trying to change the past. Because anytime I would think of my relationship with my money, it would think of all the old experiences, all of the times that I got scammed, all the times I couldn't afford something. I can't change that. And you can't either. There is nothing about the past that you can change, especially around money or anything. You just can't change the past. It's the past for a reason. And so I had to realize that. I was just like, damn, no wonder I can't build a new relationship with money because my mind instantly tries to go change the past. I can't, like, I'm physically and mentally incapable of doing that. And so are you. You cannot change the past. So the first step is accepting the past, not judging it anymore. You had to ask your mom, you had to ask your best friend for money. Maybe you have $50,000 to $100,000 in debt right now and you're really struggling and you can barely afford groceries, or you had to sell your car or sell something, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful story that you have. I love that story. I love that you are resilient. I love how resilient you are, how you always figure things out, how you never let your situation stop you. It may not be where you exactly want it to be, but you're still going. You're still here. You're still pushing. So I'm proud of you for that. Tell yourself that. That's the love that you need to give yourself if you want to change your situation. You know, just be like, because I've been in those situations. It's some real shit. You know, the money struggle is some real shit. It turns you into a whole new person. Your mind is working in ways that you never knew that it could. You're coming up with some bread that you didn't even know. I don't know how you did that, you know? It's like, it's crazy. And a lot of that, like, that's survival mode. And I was living in that because that's what I was shown. The majority of my family is living in that. And they still are. And I personally, I was just like, okay, like I see this. I'm still living in it, but I want to get away and try to change it. And that's what I'm out here doing. You know, I accepted that. I gave it love. Like there's no shame in that because they didn't know any better. That's what they were taught. My family's family was also living in survival mode. And their family before that was probably also living in survival mode. There's no shame and there's no judgment. I can't change the past. Neither can they. They didn't choose their situation. So there's no shame. You know, like I used to have negative feelings towards my mom of like, why can't we have better things? Why can't we have nicer things? Why can't we afford this? You know, as a kid, you wonder those things. And that's really hard on a parent because they're like, I don't fucking know. You know? Like, I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer for you. I wish we could do this. And you can't change that other than loving that and accepting the situation. You know, there's no shame in that. You know, that's just a part of life for a lot of people. And a lot of people had it a lot worse than I did. But a lot of people had it a lot better too. So there's always going to be someone that has it worse than you and better than you. That's just a part of life, but don't compare. There's no need to compare. You know? Betty down the street might live in a nicer house, but how does she feel internally? You know, that's what really matters. And a lot of people who are rich and wealthy and successful, they are not happy inside. So that's another thing to like really think about. Because if you think that money's going to solve all your problems, you're wrong. Yeah, it'll solve a lot of financial problems. Of course, money is a beautiful thing. It will not solve anything internally. I can guarantee that. Go ask and listen to all the stories of the people who are making 10,000 or $1,000,000 than I am. They'll tell you the same shit. And you know, I could sit here and I could wait until I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life and really successful and I have the nice house, or I could sit here and be real and share my story while I'm on the story, while I'm on the journey. And that's what I wanted to do because that's what makes my podcast so real and authentic because I'm sharing my journey as I go through it. And I really love that about my story and about all of my episodes. Like everything I share, I'm going through this shit. And I love it. And I'm grateful for all the listeners who appreciate that. Because it's real. Not a lot of people will do that. But I'm here. I'm doing it. And I love doing it. And I'll never stop. Because what's the point? Because I know, like, the first thing that you will learn online or just like from the people around you on how to change your financial situation is your money mindset. And I know that's exactly what I'm talking about here, but I'm just trying to take it into a deeper level. And I know a lot of people do that as well, but sharing my experience and my version of it. It really is your money mindset. And there's so many ways Like I used to watch all the videos of how to make quick money, how to get more side hustles, how to do this, how to do this. Like, yes, that's all great. There's so many ways to add more income. There's so many ways to make money. But if you still don't believe that you're worthy of that, you're never going to make the money. You're just going to spread yourself thin. You know? So it is so important to face yourself, face those beliefs, face those fears. Why are you so afraid of money? What did money do to you? Nothing. The experiences around money, yeah, they were probably pretty hard. Yeah, they were scary. They don't have to continue to be that way. And I know you don't want that. And I don't want to continue living the way that you're living. If you are living in some type of way that you don't want to be living, you know? But if you're watching this episode, then you're most likely not where you want to be financially. And that's coming from a person who's not exactly where they want to be financially, but I'm actively building my money mindset every day. And I think it's very beautiful and beneficial to hear advice from somebody who's actually going through it, not somebody who's already achieved it. Yes, that's really great because then you have an end result to look up to, but I'm here to share the current story, things that I'm currently doing. I'm not there yet, but that's where I'm headed. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt. Like by this time next year, it'll be completely different. And maybe I'll do another episode on money and be like, look, guys, we fucking did it. I'm still doing it. I'm still living a very beautiful and happy life. And I absolutely love myself. And a year ago, before this, I couldn't necessarily say that because I was holding the belief around money above myself. I felt really powerless and small. And your situation on your finances and money, it solely reflects on how you feel about yourself. Do you feel worthy of being financially free? Do you feel worthy of making $20,000 a month? Do you feel worthy of making 20 million a month? Because that's possible. Literally, money is limitless, and there is space for everyone to be millionaires. Yeah, the economy might be very different, but there's room for it because we are printing that shit. And that's another thing with like the whole debt thing. Do not let that block you. Like, the only debt that I would highly recommend paying off first is credit card debt. Because that shit just keeps accumulating. And I'm currently in about $8,000 in debt, which isn't a lot compared to a lot of people. But for a 21-year-old, that's a good amount of debt. And it's all from student loans and medical bills from whenever I was 17, 18 and didn't have medical insurance or health insurance. Those bills add up because, I've had some concussions. You get an MRI, that's $5,000 right there. I'm not making $5,000 as a 19-year-old. I can't pay for that shit. So it's just going into debt. But like, if you think about it, how much debt is the US in? Trillions. How is that possible if they are printing that money? That doesn't really make sense to me. So why, like, if the US isn't worried about their $1 trillion of debt, why are you worried about your 20K of debt? That comes last. That comes when you're already successful and you're living free and you got everything else taken care of. Then go pay off your debt. That's just my advice. If you want to pay off your debt first, because that's going to make you feel absolutely amazing, and then you'll be able to stack things up, do that. But for me, that's just not the most ideal thing. because I don't have a house, I don't have a car. So my first investment's not going to go back to the government. And there's it's all love. Like, I love my debt. I love that that's sitting there. It's fun. It's just a game of life. It has no power over me. I can still wake up and with a smile on my face eat some damn good food and go enjoy the sun. It's great. So I'm not going to let that limit me the way that I used to. Because what's the point? If the US can be in trillion dollars of debt, why can't I? Not that I want that whatsoever, but you get what I'm saying. Don't hold that above yourself, because it is not above you. Nothing outside of you is above you unless you put it there. You mentally take that shit and say, you're going up here, and I'm going to hold you above me, and you're going to limit me. That's what you're doing. Maybe subconsciously, but that's what's happening. So what you need to do is go back in there and be like, I'm going to put you over there because you have no power over me, and I'm still going to live and be happy and be who I want to be. And I'll worry about you never, because I don't worry about shit. Because I don't know enough to worry. I'll handle that when the time is right. Whenever I have enough funds in my account that it's just like giving away a slice of pizza. Oh, you want that paid off? Here you go. You want this paid off? Here you go. Pizza for everyone. uh. But it's really just like, if you want things to change, go internal. And I notice a lot of people have this idea that money is not within the path or within the same range of, say, working out. People know that fitness and having a dream body of theirs, a lot of that's mental. But people often don't realize that having the amount of money that they want and, being financially free, that's also mostly mental. The action comes with it. But if you are going to the gym and you work out and then you come home and you feel bad about yourself and you continue eating really bad, you're not going to get the results that you want. And if you go into work and you're complaining about hating your job and you hate corporate America, and then you come home and you're barely paying your bills, you're not getting the results that you want. It is mental. Regardless of the job that you have, regardless of if you're doing exactly what you want to do, go into work with a smile on your face and show some gratitude and show some love. That's how things are going to change. The more you hate, the more you complain, the more it's going to stay the same. You have to give it love. You have to be willing to live in the abundance before the abundance actually is here. And of course, it's easier said than done, but like I always say, it's harder on both sides. You just get to choose which side you want to live on. And for me, I personally want the abundance and the freedom and the bliss and peace of life. Because the other side is not very fun. They're both hard. One of them's fun and one of them's not. We all want fun things. So I know a lot of my friends who are in the creative journey or on this creative path, they're still working 9 to 5s and they absolutely hate it. But how do you show up every day? How are you, what is your mindset around that? Whenever I was working, I would go in with a positive attitude every single day. But deeper in, I was hating that shit. And my beliefs around money were very negative. My beliefs around the whole system were very negative. Even though I was going in with that positive energy, my beliefs were not reflecting that, so I continued to live the same way. So it's more than just going in with a happy face and being nice to your boss. What are your core beliefs? Can you go in with a happy face believing that you are going to make more money this year, you are going to get a raise, or you're going to find a better job? Believe in that. Live in that mentally before it's here. Otherwise, it'll never come. How can you tap into that gratitude? How can you tap into that space? How can you tap into those feelings of what you truly desire before they're here? And that is all from going internally, journaling on that, discovering what your current beliefs are. You know, I read a post earlier that said it's one of the many laws out there, like the abundance law, laws like that. But it said, if you have a problem and you write out the problem in every detail, you've already solved half of it. Half of the problem is just your awareness of it. Write out everything. Writing shit out is so powerful because you are literally you're taking things from your mind, putting it on a piece of paper, and then you're looking at that shit. It doesn't get more real than that. So write out what your beliefs around money are. Where did they come from? What experiences are attached to those? What memories are attached to those? Who gave you those beliefs? Who told you that? Why are you still holding on to it? And how can it be better? You know, you write one belief of money makes me feel powerless, and then you draw a line and you write a belief below it and said, my power comes from within and money helps me amplify that. So writing out your current beliefs, drawing an arrow, and writing what your new belief is. Reading it, writing it every single day. Repetition is powerful. They taught you that in middle school. If you ever wanted to learn the presidents, you'd write that shit out a million times. At least that's what I did. And I aced that test every single time. Do that with your beliefs. You know, we hate on school, but they really did teach you some powerful lessons. Repetition is so powerful. They taught you a lot about your mind. They just filled it with junk. So it distracted you from realizing what they were trying to, I don't know if they were trying, but what they were actually teaching you. They just try to, you know, but regardless of that, repetition is powerful. So take your beliefs, write them out repeatedly, your new beliefs. Don't keep repeating the old beliefs. Write those out once. Sit with them. Write them out enough times where you can be comfortable and you can feel love towards them. And then start repeating those new beliefs. Because those new beliefs aren't going to implement until you can feel love towards the old ones. You know, because that's not who you are now. Every single second is the present. You know, what I just said, that's the past already. So your old beliefs around money, how can you love that version of yourself? Even if it was yesterday, even if it was this morning, how can you give love to that version of you? Because it's the past version of you. Like, the past is that quick. Like, that snap, it's already in the past. How can you love that past version of you? How can you love that person or version of you that wasn't the best with money? How can you love that version of you who got scammed? How can you love that version of you who had to ask your parents or your family or some random stranger for money? How can you love that version of you that got yourself into $50,000 in debt? How can you give them love? Because if you can't love them, how are you going to love the new you that's making millions of dollars? And that's why so many rich people are not fulfilled, because they didn't give themselves love. They forgot the most important thing was to love themselves. Yeah, money's great, money's important, but the love trumps everything. So how can you love you so you can start receiving the abundance of life, because it is available to everybody. You are abundant. You are a divine spiritual being. Money is just another energy that reflects that. Money is powerful. Money is divine. Believe that. And that's how the situation will change. It will take time, but the amount of time is determined by you and your beliefs and how much you can sit in those feelings and sit in that new gratitude and sit in that new abundance and that new state of being of where you want to be. And that's coming from someone who needs to do that more, because it's real. You know, I'm sitting here and saying, oh, it's just a matter of time. But in reality, I, in some way, determine that amount of time by deciding how much I want to sit in that gratitude or how much I want to sit in the fear and the old beliefs. I continue sitting in the old fear and beliefs, like it's going to keep pushing that time forward. But from this moment on, there's no more of that. Yes, it's going to come up. But what am I going to do? I'm going to give it some fucking love, and I'm going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to go back to that gratitude, and I'm going to go back to the state of where I want to be. Because that's how things change. And I love that I'm doing this episode, because this shit's for me too. I'm gonna go listen to this shit on repeat every day. Probably not, but like, you should. Run them numbers up. No. But it's so real. How long has this been? We're going on 40 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up. Because, you know, I'm getting heated up. I could be going for hours. Always. This is why my solo episodes are so long. Internally, I could do this shit for 3 hours. And I love it. But what I want to leave you with, and my question for you is something I've been repeating throughout the whole last 40 minutes, is what are your beliefs around money and where do you want to be? Ask yourself that. You already know what I'm going to say. Go journal on that shit. Because it is so important. Like I was saying, repetition is powerful. And if you're writing it down and you're believing that and you're feeling it and meditating on it, like that's how things are going to change. That's where that power comes from. You know, a lot of people out here and throw the term delusional on it. Be fucking delusional. In reality, being delusional is just owning your power. Because anything is possible. So be fucking delusional. You know, very off topic, but not really. I just finished watching Money Heist last night. Phenomenal show. Absolutely phenomenal show. I'm not telling anybody to go rob a bank. Don't be a thief. But the lesson that I got from that is I highly recommend going to watch it. It's very intense. It'll keep you anxious most of the time, but it's so good. It draws you in. Whoever made that, props to you. But what I learned from that episode and just watching that final episode last night, I was just like, damn. Be positive. Be fucking delusional, because anything can happen. Even if you are in the absolute worst situation where you couldn't even imagine something good coming from it, stay positive, stay delusional, and that shit will be handed to you. That's what I learned from that. It's so good and it's so real. It's so real. But I want to wrap it up, like I said, otherwise I'm going to keep going. I know you guys probably love that, but I kicked my boyfriend out again and he probably wants to come back. And I'm hungry. I haven't ate today. That's why I ate some fruit. Anyways, go journal. Seriously. I don't care if it's a real journal or a piece of paper or a note card or a fucking napkin. Go write this shit out. What are my beliefs around money? Where did they come from? Why do I believe this? Draw a line. Draw an arrow. What are my new beliefs around money? Where do I want to be? How does this feel? the gratitude, the love, the abundance. How does this feel? What does it look like? Be specific. Right to the littlest detail. What color is your new bed? Whatever you want. If you want a new house, what color are the shutters on your windows, if you even have them? What color is your doorknob on your front door? Get specific. Imagine it. Visualize it. Visualization is so powerful. But go do that for you. I can speak it as much as I want. You can listen to it as much as you want. But the only way it'll ever change or get better is if you actually do the shit that I'm saying. Do that for yourself. I want that for you. I want you to be so fucking rich that your generation a million years from now is still living in that abundance. That's how rich I want you to be. That's how rich I want to be. Because why not? It's available. Why would I not live to the most abundant life that I possibly can? Why would you not live to the most abundant life that you possibly can? So go dive into that. And I thank you so much for being here with me every single Thursday, listening to The Magical Lane, listening to Maggie Jane ramble on about all the love in the world. It's great. I'm really happy to have you here and just for spreading your love, for sharing your time and your ears. And as always, if you want to email me or message me your answer to those questions, message me your beliefs, message me your goals, message me your visions. If you don't have somebody you can share that with, share it with me. I think that's fun. I think that's great. I would love to know. Because then I'll put my abundant energy on it and I'll help you manifest that shit. So send it my way. But thank you. Thank you for listening. I really, really hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think. Write your biggest takeaways if you're listening on Spotify, if you're on YouTube, write it in the comments. Share it with your friends. Share it with people who need this. Share it with people who you want to be more abundant and who you want to have that rich life. Share it with the people who are struggling with money, because a lot of people are. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I love you, and thank you for listening to The Magical Lane. I'll see you next Thursday.